If you think you've seen it all, buckle up, because in the next few minutes, you're stepping into a journey of alchemy, forgotten languages, secret orders, and yes, possible extraterrestrial connections. But be warned, the Voynich Manuscript isn't just a puzzle, it's a portal. And once you stare into it, nothing feels normal again. This shouldn't be there, but it is. A book no one can read, understand, or explain. And yet, it survived for over 600 years. The Voynich Manuscript is one of the greatest mysteries in human history, and no, that's not an exaggeration. It's written in a language that doesn't exist, filled with illustrations of plants that don't grow anywhere on Earth, and star charts that contradict everything we know about the universe. And the strangest part? It's real. It's stored at Yale, and to this day, no one has cracked it. You grew up thinking history had already been written, right? That everything that needed to be discovered has been. But what if I told you there's a manuscript capable of tearing all of that down? An artifact that doesn't fit our human timeline, that carries symbols that feel alien, and that's challenged the brightest minds in science and cryptography for over a century. The truth is, maybe it doesn't belong to this time, or this planet. If you think you've seen it all, buckle up, because in the next few minutes, you're stepping into a journey of alchemy, forgotten languages, secret orders, and yes, possible extraterrestrial connections. But be warned, the Voynich Manuscript isn't just a puzzle, it's a portal. And once you stare into it, nothing feels normal again. Few things in human history are as enigmatic as the Voynich Manuscript. Imagine a book no one can read, filled with illustrations of plants that don't exist, symbols that belong to no known language, and diagrams that seem to have come straight from a parallel universe. This mystery has haunted linguists, cryptographers, and historians for over a century. And the strangest part? This book is real. It exists. It's kept at the Voynich Library at Yale University. But even with all the technology of the modern world, it remains undeciphered. You might think, maybe it's just the ramblings of a medieval lunatic. But it's not that simple. Radiocarbon dating confirmed the manuscript's parchment is authentic, from the 15th century, and many respected scholars have tried to translate it, including CIA cryptographers and even artificial intelligence. None came close. Some even suggested it was a hoax, but the internal complexity and repetitive linguistic patterns suggest it follows a logic, just not ours. What does that tell us? That maybe the author wasn't writing for humans. The question that lingers, and few dare to ask, is if this book wasn't made for us, then who was it made for? And more importantly, why was it so meticulously written, illustrated, and encoded? Some say it hides alchemical formulas, others believe it's an ancient spellbook, and then there are those who claim it's an extraterrestrial record, handed down to a select group in the past. The more they try to decipher it, the deeper the enigma becomes. And that's exactly where the mystery starts to bother those who never wanted certain truths to come out. The location where the manuscript is stored also raises questions. It rests inside Yale's Voynich Rare Book and Manuscript Library, one of the most restricted and mysterious archives in the world. That place houses documents you wouldn't believe exist. Writings from secret societies, grimoires, ancient texts never released to the public. Now think with me, if this book were irrelevant, why is it locked away like that? Wouldn't it make more sense to place it in a common museum? The answer lies not in what's said, but in what's hidden. Most people don't know that the Voynich Manuscript wasn't found in some abandoned castle or secret cave. It appeared in the hands of a book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich in 1912, when he was digging through what looked like just another batch of old books in Italy. But among dusty covers, there it was, with animal skin pages, unspoiled ink, and content so bizarre even the priests who kept it had no idea what it was. Since then, it's passed through universities, experts, intelligence agencies, and still, no answers. What's most disturbing is that every decoding attempt hits an invisible wall. Even the best cryptographers trained to break war codes gave up. One whispered theory among researchers is that the manuscript was made not to be deciphered, protected by a kind of spiritual algorithm, a barrier for the uninitiated. And what if the key isn't something logical, but something you feel, something linked to consciousness, a mystery that only reveals itself to those ready to see it? In recent years, a wave of new theories has emerged around the Voynich Manuscript. One of the most intriguing came from scientists who studied the linguistic structure of the text. They noticed the words follow a statistical pattern very similar to real languages, like English or Latin. This means the text isn't a random string of gibberish. It has internal logic. Now imagine, a language with rules and structure, but that no one can speak. Is that just coincidence? Or a deeper mystery waiting to be unraveled? It gets stranger. In 2023, a theory gained traction that the manuscript may have been written by multiple authors, using a language they created themselves to keep certain knowledge secret. This idea arose from handwriting analysis across the pages, revealing at least 5 different scribes. That changes everything. We're no longer talking about a lone eccentric, we're talking about a coordinated group with a shared mission. Who were they? Monks? Scientists? Alchemists? Or messengers from something far greater? Speculation becomes unavoidable at this point. If the manuscript was indeed created by a secret society, and the signs say it was, what exactly were they hiding? Or more importantly, what were they trying to preserve? The coded language, the careful symbolism, the impossible drawings, all point toward guarded knowledge, a mystery that survived the centuries and refuses to surrender to modern science. And at that moment, a question surfaces that few dare to speak aloud. One of the manuscript's most mysterious sections is called the herbal, dozens of pages filled with drawings of plants that simply don't exist in any known botanical record. Twisted roots, impossible flowers, branches shaped in ways that defy logic. Some resemble modern herbs, but with subtle, unsettling differences, like alternate versions from another world. And here's the question: how could someone in the 15th century draw plants with such detailed anatomy without references? This isn't just about art. This is about the mystery of the impossible. Some scholars believe these plants weren't symbolic. They may be records of real species that once existed and were erased from history, or perhaps still exist somewhere on Earth. A few botanists have found vague similarities to remote Asian and South American flora, suggesting the author had highly advanced botanical knowledge or was working with information not of this world. It's strange, but not unprecedented. History holds tales of ancient civilizations with access to unknown plants and cures. The mystery grows when the silence around these drawings becomes deliberate. Then it gets even weirder. Some pages contain diagrams that look like medical or alchemical instructions, even rituals for healing. They feature mostly female figures interacting with liquids, tubes, and bathtubs that resemble mystical labs. And here's where the bold theory emerges. The Voynich Manuscript might be a manual of secret practices, perhaps linked to esoteric medicine or knowledge of non-human origin. Leafing through it feels like opening a book that was never meant to be found, a living mystery in every stroke of ink. Another deeply disturbing section is known as the astronomical pages. Here we find concentric circles, stars, celestial diagrams, but nothing matches the skies we know. It's as if the author was mapping another star system from another place or time. Scholars have tried to align the drawings with known constellations, but no pattern sticks. The mystery intensifies when you realize some diagrams resemble planetary systems we only discovered centuries later. Think about that. In an era when telescopes barely existed, someone sketched complex celestial structures, some uncannily similar to modern exoplanet maps. How did they know? These aren't decorative stars. They follow math, symmetry, and orbital patterns. The only explanation is that the author had access to knowledge far beyond their time, or they weren't entirely human. This opens a delicate but unavoidable question. Some illustrations resemble descriptions from abductee accounts, tubes, ritual circles, beings positioned in cosmic patterns. Coincidence? Perhaps. But iconography experts suggest these motifs are common in reports of contact with interdimensional beings. What if the Voynich Manuscript is an interdimensional record, a document meant to preserve knowledge that transcends time and space? A mystery so dense that in trying to understand it, you begin to question reality itself. One of the most frustrating enigmas of the Voynich Manuscript is its language. It doesn't resemble anything else. No known alphabet, no clear grammar, and yet it has rhythm, patterns, word repetitions and variations that hint at internal rules. Is this a whole new language? Possibly. But what if it's not a language at all? What if it's a code designed to be understood only by those with the right key? And worse, what if that key isn't logical but symbolic, intuitive? The mystery deepens with every failed translation attempt. For decades, professional cryptographers have tried to crack it using methods that worked in wars and intelligence operations. Nothing. In 2019, even an AI trained on ancient languages came up empty. This isn't normal. A meaningless text is usually easy to detect, but the Voynich is different. It has structure, consistency, linguistic logic. That means there is meaning. It's just hidden, like a whisper between worlds, meant only for those able to truly see the invisible. And here comes the scariest possibility. What if the manuscript is written in a language that hasn't been invented yet? Sounds insane, but think about it. What if it's from the future, or from another civilization, another plane of existence, waiting for the right moment to be understood? A mystery that will only be unlocked when humanity is ready, as if the book itself were a test, a portal. And if that's what it is, we haven't even begun to open it. Among all the attempts to decode the Voynich manuscript, one of the boldest came from researcher Gerard Cheshire. In 2019, he claimed to have cracked the code using a Proto-Romance language, an ancient root of Portuguese, Spanish, and Italian. According to him, the book contained medical and gynecological information written by Dominican nuns during a period of religious crisis. Sounds plausible at first, but shortly after, his theory was harshly criticized by linguists who pointed out major flaws. The mystery remained. Still, his attempt raised an important question. What if we're trying to decipher the manuscript the wrong way? The obsession with word-for-word translation might be blinding us. Like trying to understand a Renaissance painting by focusing on a single pencil line. Maybe the Voynich demands a different approach. Symbolic, intuitive, a reading beyond language. Like a dream, the words matter, but it's the images, symbols, and silences that hold the truth. That's why many now believe the Voynich is more than a book. It's a living artifact, a test. It challenges, confuses, attracts, and perhaps that's its true power. Not in what it says, but in what it awakens. The more people try to simplify it, the more complex it becomes. As if the book itself is aware, as if it watches whoever studies it. And in this interplay of language, emotion, and time, the mystery only grows. Behind the scenes, there's a theory that the Voynich manuscript was part of a secret experiment. Yes, some believe the book was written by a group of volunteers who created a fake language just to observe human reactions to unsolvable puzzles. Sounds far-fetched, but universities have done similar tests, simulating Voynich-like languages to analyze frustration and obsession. Yet they've never recreated its organic complexity. That's the mystery. It feels real in ways artificial puzzles never do. If it were just a human experiment, why are so many top minds still obsessed with it? Why do institutions keep investing in research? Why do studies keep disappearing after surfacing briefly? It feels like people are searching for something, but don't know what. Or maybe they do and don't want us to find out. Because when a mystery starts giving answers, it also gives power. And power terrifies. What's even more disturbing is the idea that the missing pieces weren't lost. They were removed, stored, hidden by someone who knows what they're doing. Not the first time this has happened in history. Knowledge has often been locked away to serve bigger agendas. The Voynich manuscript may be just the visible tip of something far more vast, a portal waiting to be opened, a mystery that someone out there doesn't want you to solve. If the Voynich manuscript were just a quirky artifact, it would have faded into obscurity long ago. But it didn't. It grew into documentaries, fiction, Reddit threads, and decoding forums. Every generation rediscovers it and asks, why hasn't this been solved yet? And that's when the mystery evolves. Like a mental virus, the Voynich spreads, infecting the minds of skeptics, scientists, and dreamers alike. It defies time, ignores logic, demands attention. Even academics are divided. Some see it as a medieval code, others as a clever hoax. But there's a third, more dangerous theory, that it's a message encrypted by non-human intelligences as part of something much bigger. Sounds crazy? Until you realize the manuscript doesn't behave like any known historical document. No clear source, no logical purpose, as if it was planted here by design. And the most unsettling part? The Voynich resists. It doesn't break under pressure, and that forces a painful question. Is the problem the language or our mindset? Maybe it doesn't want to be read with eyes. Maybe it must be felt or activated, like a device, like a dormant key. And in that silence, the mystery waits. There are records suggesting the Voynich manuscript once passed through very powerful hands. Some believe it was even held by the church, and that alone raises alarms. The church has a long history of hiding things that can't be explained or that threaten doctrine. Now imagine a book full of indecipherable symbols, unknown plants, strange rituals. It'd be locked away instantly. The mystery deepens when you consider who tried to suppress the book and why. Evidence shows the book may have been stored in private libraries of nobles and alchemists, treated like a forbidden relic, passed hand to hand between those who knew too much. Sound familiar? Ancient knowledge guarded by secret orders, masked behind codes and rituals. But what if the truth is the opposite? What if the public is ready and it's those in power who are afraid? Because when a mystery holds truth, it also holds disruption. And we can't ignore the pattern. Ancient documents vanish. Texts on lost civilizations, strange energies, and non-human visitors found, archived, and gone. Over and over. The Voynich somehow escaped that fate, but for how long? Is it still public by accident? Or by strategy? And what happens when someone finally deciphers it? The answer could rewrite history or unravel everything we think is true. The Voynich Manuscript isn't just intellectually strange, it's visually hypnotic. At first glance, its drawings seem naive. But look deeper and there's symmetry, patterns, rituals, repeating female figures immersed in liquids, holding tubes, interacting with unknown mechanisms. It evokes a sense of scientific ritual, a fusion of mysticism and technology. The mystery is in the details. Every line seems intentional, nothing random. These symbols aren't unique to the manuscript. Similar female figures appear in ancient tribal art, Egyptian carvings, and forgotten texts, always linked to healing, water, and nature. Coincidence? Or is the Voynich part of a universal archive, a visual language older than speech, created to survive cultural shifts and language loss? A message not for the mind, but the awakened eye. Some scholars believe the manuscript holds instructions, not information. A sequence to activate something, a state of mind, a process, an energy, a machine of symbols. They say it has presence, that it watches, not paranoia, intuition. Like the manuscript is alive, like it's waiting. In silence, it pulses, a mystery encoded in ink. Among the most unsettling things about the Voynich Manuscript are the missing pages. Yes, entire parts are gone, but these aren't torn by accident. The cuts are clean, precise, as if someone intentionally removed the most crucial sections. And in a book that's already pure enigma, those absences become the core of the mystery. What did they hide? And who decided we shouldn't see it? Some believe the missing pages held dangerous formulas or explicit rituals too risky for public eyes. Others think the manuscript is a modular puzzle. It only activates when complete, meaning those pages are fail-safes, designed to keep the truth locked away, like a security system, a code that protects itself, a mystery with awareness. And here's the darkest theory. What if those pages still exist, tucked away, protected by people or something that knows what's at stake? It wouldn't be the first time sacred knowledge vanished under mysterious circumstances. The Voynich Manuscript might be just one shard of a much larger hidden structure, a puzzle that can't or shouldn't be solved. Sometimes skepticism is healthy. After all, we live in an age where science explains almost everything. But the Voynich Manuscript doesn't fit. It resists labels, it defies explanation, and that's when the mystery becomes uncomfortable. What if this book doesn't belong here? A misplaced piece, something foreign. And if it doesn't fit history, maybe history itself is missing something. Some believe the manuscript is a time anomaly, an object out of place, from another dimension, timeline, or reality. Sounds like sci-fi, sure, but then why does nothing about it behave like a normal artifact? Not the language, not the illustrations, not the structure. It's as if it was left here, not forgotten, but planted, like bait, like a trigger. That's why the Voynich remains relevant. It doesn't give answers, it plants questions, breaks patterns. It might not be a puzzle, but a mirror, a test of how far we're willing to think. What if the mystery isn't about the book, but about us? The Voynich Manuscript is no longer just an academic curiosity. It's become a symbol, an icon of what logic can't tame. Forums, YouTube channels, books, all chasing its secrets. And what's fascinating is that the more people dive into it, the more the mystery spreads. Like it's alive, infectious, a force that awakens curiosity, obsession, and awe. It's sparked a movement. People are digging through ancient texts, rediscovering lost languages, and decoding forgotten symbols, all inspired by this one book. The mystery isn't just the content, it's what it does to people. It activates something, a desire to go deeper, to explore what's been hidden. It's not a book, it's a catalyst. And that's the real magic. Even if it's never decoded, the Voynich has already fulfilled its purpose. It makes us question knowledge, reality, possibility. It makes us look. And once you've looked, you can't unsee. In 2025, a new study revealed a shocking detail. 5 different scribes worked on the Voynich Manuscript. This destroys the idea of a lone, mysterious author. Now we're looking at a team, a group with access to a shared code, a language, a mission. Their handwriting differs, but the message is consistent, like they were following instructions, a plan. And that makes the mystery even bigger. Who led them and why? Researchers believe these scribes were part of a secret order, guardians of a forbidden legacy. That means the manuscript wasn't just a text, it was a vault. Something meant to outlast time, war, and belief systems. Something meant to reach someone, maybe now, maybe later. The more we study it, the more it resembles the encrypted works of secret societies and sacred architects. The Voynich might just be one piece of a much larger puzzle. And despite uncovering the 5 scribes, the manuscript remains undeciphered. That says everything. Whoever created it knew how to protect it. They understood how to encode it. And most of all, how to awaken doubt, that spark that makes humanity search. The Voynich Manuscript might look like an old book, but maybe it's a trigger, a whisper, a mystery waiting to be activated. So tell me, are you really sure the world is as explained as they claim? Or are there pieces like the Voynich Manuscript purposely left behind, waiting for someone brave enough to look deeper? Maybe the real question isn't what does it mean, but why is it still resisting? And most importantly, what is it trying to tell us? Have you ever wondered how many truths are hidden right in front of you? Dismissed as nonsense, myth, or coincidence? And what if the Voynich is just the beginning? A sign that so much more has yet to be uncovered? Are you ready to face what lies beyond the comfortable stories we've been told?
If this sparks something in you, then the mission has begun.
Share this video with someone who's ready to wake up. And if you want to keep uncovering secrets like this, exploring theories and mysteries that bend reality, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because the next enigma could be even stranger than this one.